know what Sony had? The Holy Trinity. Leo, Brad, and Margot. Who do you have?
Hello and welcome to Boy Party, a podcast about movies where major stars share the screen. Although this week we're doing something slightly different. My name is Lucien and I am joined by the man who has returned from his own Odyssey from, of all places, China. Shane Kelly is back. Welcome.
Good morning.
First episode we're recording since your return from your trip.
It has been 20 years since we recorded an episode.
20 years.
So I might be a bit out of practice.
I didn't recognize you at all.
No.
You were hiding under a hood.
I had a slightly longer beard.
Claiming to be an honest, a simple beggar, and I had to discern.
No, to be fair, we do let an awful lot of beggars just into our house.
Absolutely. We're very benevolent people, and sometimes it turns out that they are my father coming back from a 20-year quest. Do you want to tell the listeners anything about your China trip?
Yeah, China is pretty sick.
Very good.
They got me.
They got you.
I like it over there. I think they do a lot pretty well. Some slightly strange stuff.
The Manchurian Shane did it.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, the positives are the infrastructure is excellent. Metros, trains, buildings, all that sort of stuff. Class, food, excellent.
Okay.
Deathly cheap over there.
Great. At what cost, though?
Low wages, I'd imagine. And also cheap domestic raw materials. You don't have to import everything.
Yeah.
Very hot. 35 degrees, humid when I was there.
Thanks.
You kind of just had to accept being sweaty all the time.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I unfortunately did not get the chance to watch Matt Damon's Great Wall film.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Either before the trip or before this episode.
That would have been fun. Kind of is the closest character he's played to Odysseus.
Everything over there runs on apps, and the apps are shite.
Well, that's a problem.
It's the closest I've ever felt to being a 60-year-old
trying to use technology.
Trying to use just general WhatsApp here.
Are they not?
I felt like such a boomer over there.
I don't get why they're world leaders in innovation and yet their apps are shite. Is it deliberate?
Hardware good, software bad.
Is it done cheaply, or are they deliberately making it kind of obtuse to put people off doing stuff?
They might just have no taste.
Yeah, right.
It might it's just user experience.
UI is bad.
Well, Michael, who is a tech man,
yes,
seemed to just think that they make these things and don't do the kind of iteration of getting people to use it and find out the specific paths that lead to shitty errors. They're just
crazy.
And that's why we need the innovation and the freedom of the venture capital, tech, Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You could write an essay on that.
Yeah.
Well, we're here today to talk about a very different kind of trip. It is Christopher Nolan's new film, The Odyssey, which kind of had to get an episode. It's not really a boy party of any real kind, but it's a movie that we sort of have to do an episode on out of a sort of, if I sound unenthused, forgive me, but we put this in the schedule many months ago as just well, look, last year we did a Mission Impossible episode, this year we're doing our Odyssey episode.
This is more of a boy party than a Mission Impossible.
It is. This certainly is an ensemble cast,
despite
movie.
The title of the film being named after one singular character.
Yes, and there is one character on the posters. The weird thing about this is that it is so it requires so little convincing to get people to go see this that they actually don't even have. It's the one big blockbuster ensemble movie that doesn't need a floating heads poster. Oppenheimer was the exact same. Oppenheimer literally stuck Cillian Murphy and the bomb on the poster and was there you go, folks. This movie has Matt Damon and the horse. They're there you go. There's no need to put the faces of all the other stars in the marketing for these films, because Christopher Nolan's name does way more work than random floating head Anne Hathaway would ever do.
Yeah.
So it kind of, as a marketing thing, it kind of operates as a star vehicle for one guy. But then in practice, I think this movie actually is an ensemble piece with sort of 3 to 5 primary characters.
Yeah.
The reason we're doing it, though, is just that it's the biggest movie of the summer. It's sort of the most highly anticipated blockbuster of the year for cineasts, and Christopher Nolan films are always something we dedicate a lot of energy to getting excited about, and then that energy either turns into something very positive or turns into something very frustrated and resentful. In the case of this, maybe something in the middle, but we have now been through 4 cycles. I've been through now 6 cycles of Christopher Nolan movie anticipation, and this kind of falls somewhere in the middle in terms of my like positive to negative reaction scale.
Yeah.
Everyone we know is very positive on this. Pretty much surrounded universally by positive takes on this, with a few exceptions. I'll read out some people's Letterboxd reviews in a little while, because a shocking number of people in our circles have been to see this already since it came out on Friday. It's a real fucking audience magnet. Like, there's nothing like this. I really get frustrated a lot of the time with people in my life just not being willing to go to see new movies, and like, this is pulling people into the cinemas at a level I haven't seen in 5
But no,
years.
to be fair, Matt Damon in Armour has famously been a box office hit.
The Great Wall,
undeniable.
The Last Duel. The Last Duel, which we obviously talked about recently on the show, a film I really like, which is, I think, a slightly more successful Matt Damon ancient history movie, but you guys can go listen to that episode. But yeah, I mean, I'm just like, people we know didn't go see Avatar 3. People we know, sometimes they don't go see the Dune movies. They don't go see the fucking Best Picture winner. They didn't go see The Brutalist. They didn't go see Killers of the Flower Moon. They didn't go see One Battle After Another. This is the first film since Barbie and Oppenheimer where I'm like, I think most people I know who have any interest in popular culture are seeing this within the first like 5 days.
Yeah, I forgot it has that Barbenheimer association, which
is nice.
Yeah.
And I guess I just wish that there was a Barbie attached to it that we could kind of double up on the success. Yeah. It's actually kind of frustrating that nobody tried to do that again,
because he kind of puts these release dates out pretty far in advance.
Everyone knew when this was coming out 2 years ago. Why did nobody program like a pretty big movie for the same day?
Why didn't we get Fokker-in-Law this weekend?
Fokker-in-Law would have done that job. Like, I don't know, any kind of like Barbie shaped thing, some sort of
Obviously,
like,
there was a complete fear of like trying to counter program this.
Yeah,
because everyone was going to see it.
Yeah. And the only thing they've done is they've put Spider-Man 2 weeks later to kind of, I think, piggyback on Tom Holland, John Bernthal's Zendaya hype, which I think will actually work in their favor. I think people will probably be more hot on Tom Holland Spider-Man in 2 weeks because this movie came out and was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a real like, oh, no one's even going to try put anything else out. And I'm like, guys, there should have been something you could release. Like, but maybe the Gladiator Wicked thing put people off because that didn't work. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But that didn't work because those films weren't very
two
good.
films.
Yeah. So anyway, the Odyssey, obviously there was the sort of public announcement of this film was very funny. It was initially Christopher Nolan's new film dated July 2026. Matt Damon to star in Christopher Nolan's new mystery film. Tom Holland and Anne Hathaway joined the cast of Christopher Nolan's new mystery film. Everyone goes, what could it be? Some fucker starts a rumor that it is a remake of the classic Roy Scheider helicopter movie Blue Thunder. And there is a fucking Photoshop poster of Matt Damon and Tom Holland in front of a helicopter on the roof of a building in LA. And I sat down one day and put on the original Blue Thunder to like check it out. That's how convinced we all were this was happening. And I was like, this is shit. And I turned it off. There was also briefly a rumor that he was doing a remake of The Prisoner, the classic TV show. And then one day, a couple of weeks into that period, Universal put up a tweet that just said, Christopher Nolan adapts Homer's Odyssey, shot entirely on IMAX in cinemas July 2026. And we went, all right, okay. I personally would have rather he made Blue Thunder. I'm probably in the minority there. There's few things that interest me less than this shit. I like my Lord of the Rings. I like my Last Duel. What I do not care about is ancient, historical, foundational literary stuff. I have no interest. And maybe that's me being ignorant. I'm sure it is. I don't care about the ancient gods. I don't care about ancient Egypt. I don't care about ancient Greece. I don't really care about ancient Rome.
Trying to, like...
I think
I know the answer to this, but your problem with this is it's too tied to the original text and it's too limited with its scope.
It's like watching Exodus, Gods and Kings. It's like a very straight down the middle adaptation of something that every other piece of fiction in the last 100 years has already been pulling from. Yeah. Not least, multiple Christopher Nolan movies have already regurgitated elements of this text. So it's a bit like, watching John Carter 40 years after Star Wars comes out and you're like, I know that the book of this came first, but like they've done this already.
Yeah.
And Christopher Nolan is a very creative and a filmmaker who manages to put a very interesting spin on existing texts, but like he can only do so much here with what is ultimately a story I have seen many, many times before. I hand it over to you.
Yeah, initial, like, again, we're coming off Oppenheimer, which was kind of seemingly revolutionary at the time in the way it kind of depicted boring men around a table.
Yes.
Through history, the split, black and white, double narrative.
Jumping around in time.
Double narrative.
But it's worth
thing
saying
going on.
that I think it's true for both of us that a film about a bunch of men bickering about politics and war around a table is more a film that we're going to like than a film about ancient warriors.
Well, me citing Failsafe as my favorite film.
Like,
is
it's,
sure.
that's just more up our street.
I agree, but there was so much in that they had to explain.
Yeah.
And yet the entire thing felt like a heist movie.
Yeah.
Was just...
That's like one of the greatest screenplays of the last 25 years.
Yeah, and the music was
incredible.
outstanding.
Yeah.
And
I
think there was just a better selection of guys in there.
There's 30 character actors I love in that movie.
Yeah. And
This
they're all
has, like,
doing
2.
something kind of slightly different to
Yes.
what they're normally doing, but
also he uses
it really
their...
extracts their kind of natural charm out of them in a way you wouldn't expect. Whereas this, I think the cast is a bit of a tough one from the outset.
It's too many leads and not enough character actors.
But like leads, I don't really like.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's true for me of anyone here, bar Tom Holland. I like everyone else in this in isolation. I'm a big fan of Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Zendaya. This is just a crazy misuse of them
I think so.
and underused.
It's a misuse of them in a sense that it's too predictable a use of them.
Like the depiction of like in Naomi Harris in Pirates of the Caribbean, which is a film, a series of films I've been comparing this to a lot because this does cover a lot of the same ground as those Gore Verbinski movies with this krakens and whirlpools and whatever. Like Naomi Harris plays, I believe, a variation of the same character that Charlize Theron plays in this. Yeah. And like is doing crazy stuff, has crazy teeth, that is like cackling and a crazy witch and all this. That's just way more fun than like Charlize Theron being like incredibly muted. Hello, Odysseus, welcome to my island. Like
she's nothing in this.
So low energy, and everyone in this is kind of low energy, apart from like 2 or 3 people.
And like the whole story is kind of structured around him remembering from her island, and
it's kind of functions maybe...
It's like, it's not enough of a bit. Like, maybe they should have expanded it and made it more of the point of reference.
Because it's maybe like a bit of a... He's kind of going through a bit of a therapy session here of recollecting things that he... Kind of war memory that he has PTSD from.
But she's kind of helping him?
She's kind of helping him. But
which
her role in his narrative, I can't... It's not really clear.
No.
There is something interesting that Nolan has identified in terms of the parallels between this text and modern war and war regret and trauma and all this. And he doesn't really show you his hand on that until the last couple of minutes. And I was like, boy, if you had introduced this idea at minute 1, and maybe some people will argue that he did, but if he had really shown you what he was doing there from minute 1, which I feel Oppenheimer shows you exactly what it's doing from the very beginning, of like, this is a guy staring into space, thinking about the horrors of what he has brought.
They do repeat that one shot like 4 times with Matt Damon on the ground in the city of Troy, where he's like, whoa, what's going on?
Which is their version of Killian staring into the lake. And the movie ends on a shot of the Trojan horse with the fire behind it, which is so similar to how Oppenheimer ends. And I saw people saying that like this Oppenheimer and Tenet functions as an almost reverse trilogy about the atomic bomb, of like the origins of modern conflict in ancient history, the generation of modern warfare, and then Tenet, which is a fucking dumb movie for morons, as some sort of representation of like the future of war and of trying to change the past because of regret over. That's a sweaty one to fit in here. I definitely think this is interesting as a supplementary text to Oppenheimer about how human beings started to kill each other and never stopped. And I really liked, and I went into work the next day, and like some of my coworkers had clearly thought about this in a more interesting way than me, about the idea that like the trick of the Trojan horse was the first time that Zeus's law of like honesty and honor and nobility was kind of destroyed, and how everyone kind of did operate war along certain moral rules.
We will stand across from you and shoot at you,
and we will wait till you say go, and then we'll
the
go.
whole shtick of him plucking the bow before he shoots the arrow is kind of along those principles.
And then once they sneak in this horse and just fucking trick everybody in their sleep, well, that's when everything gets really fucked up. And we're still dealing with the consequences of that in 2026. And Travis Scott's there to rap about it and tell us all about the origins of this. And this is a man who now writes modern songs today that reference modern conflict and blah, blah, blah. So that stuff's all super interesting. And yeah, maybe then Travis Scott being the first person who appears on screen is Nolan showing you what he's doing there. But for me, that's just like immediately lost because there's 15 characters I have to get to know really quickly, and I only really cared about like 2 of them, and that's a problem. That I found the father-son thing very hard to get invested in. I found the husband-wife thing very hard to get invested in.
Yeah, because they don't really spend any time together.
No, I didn't care about Damon seeing Zendaya floating around the place because of some girl he saw being beheaded. Like, that sucks, but like Zendaya
is there to explain to you the kind of moral narrative of the film.
Yeah, that's not it. She's not playing a character.
No.
She's playing a concept, and I don't...
He looks at her and he's like, oh, maybe what I did was bad.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I think that's really cheap, and I think it's actually just like lazy and boring to have not only have the wife of your second lead in that role in real life, but having the actress who is best known for playing the mysterious sand dune hallucination character in another franchise of big epic movies where the main character has constant fantasies of her talking to him and whispering to him and walking around in the sand. That is such lazy casting. Similarly, Charlize Theron out in the fucking sand talking to you about your destiny. I've seen Furiosa and Fury Road, thanks very much. Anne Hathaway, not bad in this, but repeating a lot of the same stuff she does in Interstellar. And then you've got your kind of bench of your Bernthal, your fucking Safdie, and you're just kind of retreading guys from the last couple movies as well. So it's like, oh, you know, I appreciate the lack of Kenneth Branagh, but at a certain point, he may as well be in here because it's all just kind of doing that thing.
Like, yeah, I think this more heavily than Oppenheimer or Tenet or most of his films in the last few relies on you connecting with the emotional arcs of the characters more.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the weaknesses.
And maybe
Nolan had. Like, it relies on his kind of weaker characteristics as a filmmaker to make it strong.
He's obviously he thinks that by casting all of these big A-list movie stars that you're going to connect to those characters immediately because you love Anne Hathaway and Tom Holland. I don't think that works. I think that what he does in Oppenheimer works way better. I'm going to connect to Josh Hartnett and David Krumholtz much faster than I'm going to connect to Tom Holland and Anne Hathaway. Because I think stars as big as them, I really need them to prove to me what they're doing. Whereas I think guys who show up for one scene in a lot of movies, I'm like,
you're kind of rooting for them already.
I'm rooting for them already as an underdog type thing. Yeah. Now, the film of his that I think this reminded me of structurally that in a bad way is Batman Begins. Because Batman Begins does 4 different media res openings. Like there's childhood parent murder shit, there's Batcave, scared of bats shit, and then there's him in Japan, and then there's him returning to Gotham to try and sort out crime.
It's very sequential, and
those all get intercut in the first 45 minutes of Batman Begins. Like the first act of Batman Begins is kind of it's not sequential. It's kind of a nightmare of editing that he hasn't figured out how to do that trick yet. Like he wants so badly in 2005 to do the thing that he does incredibly well in Dunkirk and Oppenheimer, but I don't think he's able to do that until he starts working with Jennifer Lame, and they figure that out really, really well. And Oppenheimer, best edited film maybe ever. I think that this reverts back to the Batman Begins thing because pulling from the Odyssey as a text, similarly to how he has to do Batman's origin story somewhat faithfully, he can't really get carried away with stringing out his own version of the narrative from the launch when he has to adhere to something that people have studied in American middle and high school. So it's like he's kind of stuck there. It's almost like he's adapting a fucking Harry Potter book or something. It's like he's kind of stuck within the confines of what people want and expect, even though he, as Christopher Nolan, can really do whatever he wants and people will go with him. But I don't think he has enough confidence in himself here.
Like, normally this is not something that would bother me, and it's not like in that knowing kind of what's going to happen is a problem for me watching the film, because I can kind of get sucked into how they go about it. But like, I think having kind of known the summary of the Odyssey, where it goes, I think knowing that Odysseus rocks up the end anyway, I think really took some of the sting out, a lot of the action in the middle. I know, and I think maybe there was a gap there where he did need to flesh out the crewmates a bit more and make the danger about them rather than himself. Or like Himesh Patel is there, but like,
it's a weird, when we love Himesh Patel, I don't think that he's playing much of a well-rounded character in this. He's just kind of grunting.
Like they kind of go about the mutiny sort of thing in a soft sort of way, and then when he's eating the cow is pretty funny.
It is funny. Well, the crewmates are at the center of the best scene in the film, which is the Samantha Morton scene with the pigs.
Yeah,
but they're not really the focus there because you're just staring at her. But this is like standout filmmaking here, where Samantha Morton basically feeds them food that they start to eat like pigs, and then she molds their faces into pigs, and there are these incredible flashes of these like horrifying half human half pig faces that seemingly were done with prosthetics and not CGI. Clay and it looks brilliant. It's really great, and
it's horrifying.
I love all that stuff.
The people around me were like looking away and closing their eyes because they couldn't stand Samantha Morton putting a full fist down someone's throat.
That stuff is so good.
That's
and
really
she's
good.
So scary, and like I think I maybe would have I was told in advance that Samantha Morton was like amazing in the movie, so I probably didn't get caught off guard by that. I would have liked if I maybe didn't even know she was in the movie. That would have been more fun. But I love that scene. I think that it actually starts off pretty strong, like especially the score, which I know Christina's very, very cold on the score and has been complaining about it for like 4 days now. I thought that it was fine, but I thought that the first couple of minutes of the film, the score is really, really good. There's a track on the soundtrack called Ithaca, and it's a kind of a Greek guitar thing. That's kind of playing when you're first being introduced to the castle and the characters, and it has like fun vocals going behind it and stuff. And I appreciate that he didn't use an orchestra for the score. He used all these weird instruments and was like, I'm not going to just do this standard fantasy
classical
blockbuster score, because they obviously were worried that this could very easily start to feel very iterative of Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Gladiator, and so on. But I think that the film starts off strong because the potential is there for what's going to come, and then I don't think it ever really reached that potential. It takes a really surprising amount of time for Matt Damon to actually show up. I don't think we see him for at least 20 minutes.
No,
maybe you see him at the very, very beginning, but like
But then there are really long stretches where Tom Holland just isn't there at all.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like Tom Holland is in every frame for the first 25 minutes, and then he disappears for like an hour. And like by the time they get back to Tom Holland, not only do I not care about him anymore, I have lost all sense of where he is in time and in geography, and I'm like, I have no fucking clue where you are, pal. Like
I identified early on that like, okay, this is the first 20 minutes of a Christopher Nolan film where you have to just trudge through the exposition,
just pay attention,
and then 20 minutes in it'll kick off. It's like the plutonium in Berlin,
exactly.
Like in Mission
Impossible. Then you hit the credits,
and then you hit the credits, and then shit starts rolling.
But this never does that.
I don't think it kind of just it trots into the next section at the same pace.
Because the book is clearly the I don't want to call it a book. The poem.
Yeah,
have it sitting in front of me here. Whose translation? You'll hear the flickering.
It's from 1980, I think.
Walter Scheuring. Okay, so this isn't the one that people like. The Emily Wilson translation is the one that people say is
based
good.
on. Yeah.
This is how many pages? 350 pages. So it's a poem.
It's quite dense.
Yeah, but it's.
I read the author's introduction.
Yeah, fair play to you. But it's so episodic that it's like really clashes with Christopher Nolan's fluid filmmaking style.
I think so. That's what I found about especially the action
sequences.
It's
frustrating. It's like, oh, we're moving on now to this next thing. We're going to spend 20 minutes in a cave with the Cyclops. We're now never going to mention that again. Yeah. And we're going to go hang out with the fucking whirlpool, and we're going to hang out with the sirens. And it's like, in any of his other movies, those scenes would happen at the same time, and he would cut back and forth between them. That is what Christopher Nolan is good at. The what is so amazing about Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight, and Dunkirk is that he has 2 to 3 different scenes of action happening simultaneously, and he cuts back and forth between them. And this movie is absolutely refusing to do that when it comes to the big action scenes. And he,
like, Inception is Christopher Nolan's best, the Odyssey film.
Absolutely. And he really struggles, I think, with not being able to do that, which obviously he feels he can't because it would just mess too much with the text. Anyway, let's take a little break from our negativity. I'm aware that many people listening to this will have loved this film, and I wanted to offer a positive alternative viewpoint. As
with always, it's so much easier and sometimes more fun to pick holes in things.
Yes,
it's because they're more apparent up front. Like, you have to. Like, I liked a lot of this as well.
Sure. But anyway, I asked friend of the show, Luke Shanahan, to send us in a voice message that we could play on the show defending the movie.
Yeah.
I have not talked to Luke about the film yet. I haven't heard his opinions on it. I just know that he liked it. So let's have a listen to this, and you folks can get an alternative view on the film.
Hello, Boy Party listeners. I'm currently on an odyssey of myself, a flight from Dublin to Boston, where I've been on the tarmac for an hour and a half. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, that's correct. Yeah.
My thoughts on the Odyssey. So, Lucien, I know one of the issues that you had with it after your review was that it didn't really update the story in any significant way, and you felt that, if a story's for thousands of years old, you need to kind of update it to sort of like keep it fresh. Now, for me personally, I was coming in having sort of, familiar with the Odyssey through osmosis, not sure ever having read a translation of it. So on some level, it was still like I would recognize segments, the Cyclops, the stuff with the pigs from, like, the Simpsons versions of it and stuff. But for the most part, I was kind of coming to it fresh. But also, I'd say, I think, what's sort of weird about this one is this is the first time the Odyssey has been adapted into a film in full. And so I think playing it straight is kind of the right move, because there's an opportunity there to basically make the definitive Odyssey movie. And then, the other side of it for me, I think, is largely I'm just kind of in awe at the fact that this film exists, that it was able to film in so many different locations, the challenges of doing what they were doing, practically building a Cyclops in a cave, all the boat stuff. I mean, I've done limited boat stuff on sets myself, and it's hard to do that even at a small scale. So at the scale they're doing it, I'm just kind of like, I can't help but be in awe in the craft of it. So yeah, that's my kind of soft defense of the Odyssey after one viewing. Definitely want to rewatch it again, because I kind of feel like I don't have anything particularly intelligent to say about it. But yeah, okay, I think those are my thoughts.
I definitely don't want to watch this again. I think Luke is looking at it there from a perspective of being impressed that they pulled it off. I find it very hard to look at a very expensive studio movie from that angle. I think if I was watching a low budget independent film and they were able to do, like, I actually genuinely, and I don't care for this film any more than the Odyssey, but I would say that I feel that way more about Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, than I do about this. Of like, it's cool that they pull that off. Christopher Nolan, Universal Studios, and a $300 million budget. I'm like,
you can do anything.
You may as well have pulled that off. Like you should have pulled that off.
Yeah.
The other thing he said about it was worthwhile making a definitive version of this story. Like, that's fine if you're talking about a film that's going to be shown in schools for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
To almost like have it as a pristine copy for the old library.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the same as a film that's released in the middle of summer that I want to go see on a massive screen. I feel like doing something for kind of preservation purposes of adaptation is very different to making something that's like, has
Oppenheimer and has Dunkirk not become the definitive text on?
They certainly have
the respective topics.
I'm sure they have, absolutely. But that's clearly now, is that what Nolan is interested in doing? Is that every second movie of his is going to be like, I am putting the Christopher Nolan stamp on this. I mean, he can do it if he wants, but I don't think after seeing this that I particularly want him to go and make an Old Testament or Jesus movie or something about Cleopatra or...
No, I don't think he will.
I don't want him to do any of that stuff. I think... But now I'm like, what do I want him to do? Because I hated the last original sci-fi film he made. I don't particularly care for this adaptation of a classic text. So it's like, do I just kind of want him to make
more World War II stuff?
Or stuff about famous, interesting guys who were kind of difficult men that
that's what this is.
That he's reminding himself of? Yeah, but the people in this are from so many thousands of years ago that I'm like, these are not modern people in the modern world in the way that Oppenheimer is. Like, Oppenheimer is dealing with bureaucracy and American government in a way that I can directly relate to the world today. Whereas this is just about like
Batman is relating with modern policing.
This is about how human behaviors were formed in terms of how governments and armies operate, sure. But it's coming from such a place of ancient history that I am like struggling to... I don't know. Anyway,
maybe the Trojan horse is AI, and that's why this is such a practical film.
There's a fantastic tweet that came up today, folks, that I'm going to share a version of on our socials. And it was like, when the Cyclops showed up and he looked like this, and it's a picture, it's an AI-generated image of Aidan Gillen in The Dark Knight Rises standing on the tarmac, but he's wearing robes and he has one eye and he's on the beach. I've made a non-AI remake of it that I'm going to put up on our Instagram. I'm going to read out a couple of reviews by friends of the show because, as I said, everyone's gone to see this. Brendan said he loved the Cyclops sequence. He appreciated the contemporary English dialogue. He thought Hathaway was the best performance. Holland's best work since The Impossible. He loved all the boat stuff. Cersei and the pigs was great. He was pretty satisfied. Sonia said, Tuscany won't stop calling me the Cyclops. Angry face. Dave called this film bloodless. I mean, it's kind of bloodless. But,
I don't see any blood on screen, really.
Yeah, but that's like, I don't care about that. But I get what he means.
He's a horror guy, though.
He's a horror guy. I think he wants it to be grosser.
Some more gore.
Neve, who's our guest next week on the show, said, after spending 20 years arguing that only men understand morality, Nolan finally dares to ask, men bad? What else we got? Luke, you've heard from... Alistair liked this more than Oppenheimer. He had a very good review on Letterboxd. I recommend. He said it's the richest Nolan film since Interstellar. It's good to like one again. Points deducted for not showing the Cyclops' cock and balls. I agree with him. I was expecting to see that. I'm surprised we didn't.
Danny Boyle had the courage to do that.
Exactly. The Cyclops is played by Bill Irwin, who of course played Tars the robot in Interstellar, and is a great actor and a kind of a clown and a mime and a bunch of other stuff. I thought the Cyclops was pretty cool, but is just not the kind of thing I'm interested in. Like, I'm just not really interested in like, oh my god, we did the Cyclops for real. Like, okay, fine. Like, that stuff just doesn't impress me that much. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, of course you did. Like, and Christopher Nolan's refusal to go full CGI fantasy, I think, is a hindrance to this film in certain ways, where it's just a little bit flat when he's trying to do everything practically. I don't think the scene with the giant warrior fellas is that exciting because he's doing all this in-camera trickery, and that's great, but also
the narrative of that scene is they walk onto the island, see scary thing, and like, oh shit, let's run away again.
Yeah, so
there's nothing really going on. Exactly. Like that could have been part of a montage of various things rather than its own scene, because I think there are kind of stops and episodes within the Odyssey that weren't covered off.
So they should have flown through more of those quicker and just had them all cut together really fast.
Maybe, yeah.
Rather than just stopping and doing.
Again, we say this very simplistically, like we know how to make film,
but this is almost operating more like a fucking Narnia movie, where it's like, and now we're onto this play. Like the Voyage of the Dawn Treader has a lot of this. Obviously, I mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean. What was the other thing this reminded me of a bit? There's some other fantasy film, but it had me thinking about Avatar Fire and Ash a lot.
Yeah,
because I was just thinking how Avatar Fire and Ash managed to sustain momentum for 3.5 hours of like all these new characters, all these new locations in this fantastical world, and I was so incredibly riveted by it. And how this film,
Spider, is much more compelling than Metallicus.
But like this film, in theory, has better actors than Avatar in every role, and yet and yet no one was getting me as hyped as Varang and Quaritch.
Is there just much more of an existential threat in Avatar?
Maybe. Avatar feels like it's really like pounding home the like environmentalism, animal cruelty stuff in like a very like subtext is for cowards kind of way.
Sure.
And I'm like, I think a bit of that would go a long way with the Odyssey. The last act of this is a fucking snooze.
Sorry, I just before we get to the last act, I want to point out probably my favorite sequence of the film, which is the trip to the underworld.
With the ghosts and the
demons.
with
the guys coming out of the cool.
So we have the ghost.
I thought it was the most visually distinct part of the film that
who have we got in that scene? We got Elliot Page comes back.
Yeah.
Benny Safdie comes back. Yeah. And there's one
just a weird little guy in the ground.
That's a famous actor. That is I'll tell you in 1 second now. One of these 90s
The character
guys.
of Hades never shows up himself, I don't think.
No, he doesn't. No. Who is that other guy that oh my god, this is going to drive me insane. James Raymar, sorry. He's the blind prophet of the underworld.
Yes.
Yeah. Elliot Page, very good in this. Very, very well cast. I really, really like everything that Nolan did there. I think that there's
really good.
A very explicit choice to make this statement that Matt Damon does of him being the bravest man I ever knew. I think it's not unintentional to do that about the trans actor that you worked with 15 years ago before they transitioned. I think that's like a very nice and generous thing that Nolan does to kind of give Elliot Page a bit of a boost with the audience that I think will probably go a long way to get Elliot Page back into mainstream movies, which is great. And Benny Safdie being in this is kind of dumb and stupid though, and it pissed me off.
It's just like, I put my friends in, like,
that it's distracting, it's stupid. I think that character, like, genuinely fucking Aidan Gillen or someone would have been better in that role. Like, I just think it's just like it's meta casting in an annoying way of like, here's another filmmaker that I'm friends with. Like, it's just distracting. It's like when fucking Scorsese shows up in fucking Mandalorian. I'm just like, this is annoying. Apparently Jamie Harris is in this movie. I just did not see him at all.
But one thing I think the underworld sequence does do is it reveals information to Odysseus that the rest of the crew don't have. So I think that actually adds a bit of tension to the whirlpool and the siren scene. Where he's like,
he's choosing to,
I'm not allowed to tell you what's the bad thing is that's about to happen.
So then he becomes this dishonest kind of fucker. Like,
no, they tell him, okay, you need to tell them to go to the whirlpool rather than the creek. But if your crew says, I want to go to the creek, you can't tell them not to. Otherwise, everyone will die.
Did you cop that one of his crew is Jovan Adepo, the guy from The Leftovers, His Three Daughters, and Babylon?
Oh, no.
And Watchmen. He's one of the fucking crew.
Oh.
They're wearing helmets the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you really cannot see their faces.
Sorry, him. Oh, yeah. I like him.
That's crazy. I like him too, and he doesn't register at all.
He doesn't know.
Mia Goth is... People are getting mad at that performance. I think she's fine. She's harmless. She doesn't do enough to... I think the scene with her and Pattinson being sneaky
was a bit
kind
of
a fun moment.
Yeah, there was a bit of a kick there. I was like, okay, this is kind of a funny
we haven't
something going on.
Actually said Robert Pattinson's name once yet.
No.
I think he's okay in this.
It's fine.
I don't think it's very... Again, lazy casting.
His bar is pretty high for like what he generally does, and he's
fine. Like, I think he's capable of much better. Lupita Nyong'o, very little to do.
She does play two characters.
I didn't fucking know that until after because I'm dumb and was sleepy. But
I didn't pick up on it either.
This is 100% like, as much as I had no intention of going to see this film again in a cinema. I'll watch it again in a few months on streaming maybe. I definitely think I missed a lot the first time. I think I do with all these films. I think Dunkirk, the first time I saw it...
No, of course you missed a lot. You had the top and the bottom of the frame cut out because you did not watch this on 70mm IMAX.
Yeah. I think that the first time I saw Dunkirk, I didn't even realize what was going on with the three
I was completely lost the first time Dunkirk was
I think Nolan really makes films for 3 viewings. And
I was completely lost the first time I watched Tenet, and then I watched the second time, and
you were still lost.
It didn't help at all.
Oppenheimer was definitely more coherent the second time I saw it. A lot Dark Knight Rises, Dunkirk, and Oppenheimer all massively improved for me the second time I saw them. Tenet went hugely down in my estimation, and
I think this will go up on second watch because you're not going in off the back of Oppenheimer with these insane expectations of something blowing you away with its kind of creativity in timelines and sort of stuff.
Fair.
So
Interstellar has gone down in my estimation every time I've watched it.
You can probably settle into the craft of it more. And
I quickly do my ranking. My
go on.
ranking from 12 to 1. Number 12, it's Tenet. Tenet's fucking sucks. At number 11, Memento. I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it since I was about 14, but I didn't care for it at the time. It's not the type of movie I tend to like. Batman Begins at 10. I've really cooled on that in recent years. I think Batman Begins is like quite messy and has some really bad acting in it. Like, I think Liam Neeson and Katie Holmes are quite bad in that film. Insomnia at 9. It's grand. It's fine. It's a fun little, like, what if Christopher Nolan was just like a studio for hire guy forever movie. Then I've got Odyssey at 8. 7, I've got Prestige. 6, I've got Dark Knight. 5, I've got Interstellar. Those for me are all like grand, but not films I have the urge to rewatch very often. Then at 4, Dunkirk, which I really, really like, but plays way better in a cinema than at home. I watched it about 2 weeks ago at home, and I wasn't like super wrapped up in it, but I think it's really, really strong. And then the 3, like, absolute bangers. Oppenheimer I have at 3, Dark Knight Rises at 2, Inception at 1, but you could swap around 2 and 3 there. I mean, I'm aware that my Dark Knight Rises thing is partially a contrarian thing,
sure,
but I legitimately cannot stop watching that movie. I go nuts for it, and it was on in the Cineworld IMAX about this time last year, and I hadn't seen it in the cinema since 2012, and I was so fucking like riveted the whole time. I think it's just phenomenal, and the score is incredible, and it never stops moving. And again, it's a character actor bonanza. You're like, oh my god, there's Bern Gorman, there's Ben Mendelsohn, like just having a blast. So anyone else in the cast of this we haven't really talked about? Yeah, well, I want to say my favorite performance in the movie is John Leguizamo,
of course,
who is really, really strong, and I'm glad to see that everybody else agrees with me. He's basically looks like Marlon Brando in this. He's playing this old blind man who is like the sort of, I guess, father figure to Odysseus. And then when Odysseus is away, he's sort of like, they're still letting me live here, but just about. Yeah. And is giving Tom Holland lots of nice words of wisdom and stuff. And then when Odysseus eventually comes back and is speaking to him, I found that scene very moving. Yeah. I thought he was great, and I'd be really, really thrilled if he got a few nominations for this. I think he deserves it.
I guess he is kind of the kind of undeniable supporting actor choice out of this.
Yeah, right? Like
unless they start dropping Tom Holland down in supporting acting.
Yes, Tom Holland will probably be submitted for supporting actor. So you'll probably see a sort of a Holland, Pattinson, Leguizamo campaign going on.
Yeah.
I would imagine that Pattinson being in 3 other movies this year is going to sort of, they're all going to cancel each other out.
Yeah.
I don't think Robert Pattinson's going to get an Oscar nomination for anything this year. Unless the
drama really takes off. No,
unless the prime time is like an amazing performance. That film looks way too weird to be getting Oscar nominations. I don't think he's getting nominated for any of these. I also think his performance in Dune is going to be very similar to this, and that people will just blur them together and won't end up voting for either of them. Yeah. Whereas Leguizamo, I think, is like really well liked within the industry, has put in the work over the years but never been appreciated. Did amazing stuff 20 years ago with Baz Luhrmann and in Tu Wong Fu, and then everyone just kind of forgot about how good he was. So I think there's something definitely there for him. And then Samantha Morton's obviously great. Everyone loves her, is a previous Oscar nominee, and again has like one very clear supporting role in this. She's in 3 scenes and she's great. Hathaway's fine in this, but like I don't know if the year of Anne Hathaway with these 5 movies, again, same thing as Pattinson, they're all going to cancel each other out.
Where's your Hathaway ranking for the year?
Prada 2 is still the top.
Yeah.
And then this, and then Mother Mary, right? Is this those 3?
Oh, there's
2 left to come. Oak Street and Verity.
Yeah.
She's not getting a fucking Oscar nomination this year. Not for any of these. I think we've mentioned everybody else in the cast. Zendaya really being in this pissed me off. It's not her fault. It's Nolan's fault.
It's not her fault.
I thought that casting was egregiously unimaginative. Himesh is hopefully going to get a bigger role in the next one, I would say.
Didn't get single card billing in this.
No, him and Bernthal both got fucked there and got split card, which I really don't appreciate. Yeah. Himesh is clearly someone Nolan really likes because he put him in Tenet as well. So given that Nolan's rule with these actors seems to be 3 movie cycles where he kind of like ups the size of the role every time, which Damon went from 8th guy in Interstellar, which is, a bit of kind of stunt casting. Like
that's cameo.
He's uncredited
level stuff.
But then he went up to being 2nd, 3rd lead of Oppenheimer to lead of this. I can easily see. Now, it's weird then that John David Washington just immediately was the leading man. So there's no consistency here. But
No.
I can see a clear scenario where Himesh Patel is first or second billed in the next Christopher Nolan movie.
I can't.
You can't. Okay.
Second, maybe. I don't think you're...
Okay, maybe a Pattinson in Tenet size
Yeah.
supporting role.
Yeah.
He is about to be in Ryan Coogler's new X-Files thing, which
Okay.
I really wish
Is that
was
TV?
It's TV, but it's TV that's been shot on film, directed by Ryan Coogler, shot by Autumn Durald, the DOP of Sinners.
Why do they not just make him...
It's Himesh and it's Deadweiler. Station 11 reunion.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what
that's
that
a fun
is. I would recommend anybody and everybody who likes Himesh Patel in this movie to please check out Station 11, the best television show of the 2020s so far.
so.
Featuring friend of the show David Wilmot and Himesh and Daniel Deadweiler and Mackenzie Davis. It's a great show.
Yep.
I think that's everybody in this movie.
Think so.
Will we finish up with the box office for the opening day? We don't have the weekend
opening
yet.
day.
Yeah, we don't have the weekend yet, but we have Friday numbers. This did great numbers on Friday. This did...
Are we doing international or we're doing...
No, domestic. There's no such thing as international.
Sorry, not international.
Weekend
but
box
like,
office. The Odyssey opened 51 million on Friday. In second place, it is a...
51 million. Oh, on Friday. Not even... Yeah, okay.
51 million on Friday alone.
Okay.
Very
that's
impressive.
pretty nuts.
Very impressive. Second place, we have a film that I really will never watch under any circumstances. It may as well be AI generated as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Even though it stars one of our biggest leading men.
Really?
Biggest physically and in terms of fame.
A large man.
Yeah.
Is it animated of sorts? Or...
It is a remake of an animated movie from 10 years ago.
This is Moana.
Moana.
Sorry, the film that has come out like every summer for the last 6 years.
Yeah. Moana live action. I like how Cineworld's website lists it as Moana live action. It has so far grossed 68 million, so it's underperforming.
Wow. And this is second weekend now?
Second weekend, yeah. The 68 million gross in 8 days. It's not doing that
I like
great.
that children don't give a shit and one day they will just stop
One day they'll
liking
stop
something.
liking something, yeah.
Same.
A lot more stuff for children coming up. In third place, we have... There's number 3 and number 4 are both animated movies that I have seen.
Toy Story
like.
still...
So Minions is at 3
Minions
and Toy Story is at 4.
Okay.
I like both of these films a great deal. I think they're both really fun.
Yeah.
They're really the first two animated children's films in quite a while that I've been motivated to go and see myself in a cinema, and I like them both.
Did you go see Hoppers in the cinema?
I did, but that was because I was in Spain and I couldn't deal with the heat and I wanted to go inside. These are both better than Hoppers. Toy Story 5, I think, is quite good. And Minions is good fun. I'd recommend both. Yeah. In number 5th place. In number 5th place, we have a horror sequel of like a legacy franchise. God, I don't think you even know this came out. I have not brought this up in conversation once.
Hereditary or...
No, Hereditary.
Hereditary
is not a movie with sequels. That is a once-off.
Is that the Tony
Ari
Collette
Aster
one?
film?
Oh, sorry, no.
You don't know what Hereditary is.
What am I thinking of then? What's the Patrick Wilson?
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring, maybe that's what I'm using it.
This is like the 7th movie in a franchise.
Scream.
No, that began in the 80s, but it's completely changed shape now. It's a different vibe entirely. Different people
Paranormal
involved.
Activity, The Purge.
You think these are franchises from the 80s, do you?
No, I'm just naming things. Go on, give me the answer.
The previous film in this franchise was directed by Lee Cronin of Lee Cronin's The Mummy fame.
Lee Mummy's The Cronin.
But he did not direct this one. This is a sequel, though, to a Lee Cronin film that came out in 2023, 2022.
Tell me. I don't know.
Evil Dead Burn.
Oh, The Evil Dead. Okay.
Did you know that Evil Dead Burn was out?
Not really, no.
Yeah, well, it is. At number 6, it's a film that was shot in Ireland, and some of our pals worked on it, and some of our pals are in it as extras.
Oh.
It is a historical epic, but a little bit more recent history than the Odyssey. In fact, the events in this film took place exactly 250 years ago.
Is this
This film was released to coincide with the 250th
anniversary
of the United States.
Is this some American bullshit?
This is an Angel Studios release, shot in Ireland.
I have no idea what it's called.
It's called Young Washington, and it's about George Washington when he was young.
Jesus.
At number 7, it is a film that you saw the other day. 4 big stars.
The Invite.
The Invite.
Invite.
Potentially going to be an upcoming episode of my other podcast, City Sickos. Stay tuned. It's a San Francisco movie.
Is it?
It is.
No, it absolutely is.
It doesn't have a lot of locations, but it's set
it
in San
exists
Francisco.
entirely inside.
Yeah,
and
but it's about the type of people that exist in San Francisco.
Yeah, I guess. That is a fun boy party billing card where it is 4 names stacked.
It is a fun boy
from
party,
top right to bottom left.
Yeah. At number 8, it's the biggest smash horror hit of the year. $256 million.
Is this one of the
Domestic
obsession/backrooms?
obsession.
It's still Obsession.
On its 64th day of release, Obsession has now accumulated $250 million in the United States alone.
That's nuts.
Insane. At number 9, it's a DC Comics movie that I have refused to go to see, Supergirl. At number 10, it is Disclosure Day. Then we have Backrooms, Jackass, Scary Movie, Mandalorian, Gail Dowtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, Devil Wears Prada 2, Death of Robin Hood. Death of Robin Hood, the most non-existent film of the year so far.
The Hugh Jackman one?
Yeah.
That came out?
Hasn't come out here.
Oh, okay, fine.
But it came out in the States and it has grossed $5 million in 5 weeks. Really just no appetite for that whatsoever. But it's coming out here in a few weeks' time. Maybe it'll do a little bit better this side of the pond. It was made in Northern Ireland. That is it for our Odyssey episode. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry we were so negative about the film. As Shane said, he liked a lot of stuff about it. I liked a little bit less about it, but it's not a bad film.
It suffers from its own expectations somewhat. And
being, ultimately, it's in my top 10 of the year so far.
Oh, I think it's number 4 for me.
It's probably number 6 for me. That is sort of the floor of where a Christopher Nolan film is going to end up.
And looking at the films above it currently, it could conceivably still be number 1.
Conceivably, yes. But I definitely, without question, prefer The Devil Wears Prada 2 to this. Blue Heron, I prefer to this. And
Propeller Night.
One-way Propeller Night Coach, I prefer to this. And I think I prefer Toy Story to this as well.
Really? Okay.
That's all for this week. We'll be back next week covering Alfred Hitchcock's classic.
3 years.
Psycho. With
the next Nolan.
Neve, Mary, Martin. We'll be back in 3 years for the next Nolan. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to the show and listen to all previous episodes, including an episode we did on The Dark Knight a couple years ago. Oh, yeah. We also have covered Matt Damon movies on the show now 5 times. We have done The Last Duel, Ford versus Ferrari with Adam Shanahan, Carnage, The Instigators, not Carnage. Contagion, The Instigators, and now this.
The Instigators, where we do that.
Yeah, our website is boypartypod.com. This is our first new release we've done since Jay Kelly.
God, that was
7-8 months ago.
October.
Completely dried up on new releases. It's hard to be motivated to do it.
I know. They come a bit thicker and faster towards the end of the year anyway.
They do, but looking at the rest of the year, the only ones we're really committed to doing are Fokker-in-Law and probably Verity.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, is there anything else really that's a boy party that we need to be covering? Not really.
Ink isn't a boy party.
Ink doesn't seem to be a boy party. Oh, we'll cover Digger in some way.
Oh, sure.
We will cover Digger, but it's not a boy party. But we'll do it. I think we'll do something special about Tom Cruise. Okay, thank you for tuning in. BoyPartyPod.com. Follow Boy Party Pod on Instagram. Bye bye.